They say that fortune favors the bold, but sometimes just plain old dumb luck is just as effective.
He's more beautiful than I ever imagined.
For a handful of unassuming people, being in the right place at the right time has led to them becoming wealthier than their wildest dreams could have ever imagined. Here's 10 lucky discoveries that made people rich. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to The Supreme, and click the notification bell for more lit content. Let's get rolling. Number 10. Giant gold nugget. There's gold in them hills. For centuries, brave prospectors and adventurous miners have scoured the natural places of the world in pursuit of one of the most coveted ores on the planet, gold. Just take a look at this image, one of many that claim to be the largest golden ore ever discovered. If real, this is certainly a hot contender, but the record holder is even more impressive. On February 5th, 1869, 2 Cornish miners found the largest gold nugget ever recorded while prospecting the fields of Victoria, Australia. Dubbed the Welcome Stranger, the incredible ore weighed over 150 pounds and measured in at over 24 inches in length. It was found buried just below the surface of the field, and yet the 2 lucky miners that discovered it were paid only 10,000 British pounds for finding it. However, in modern times, with current inflation rates, that's a little over $1.5 million. Either way, they were rich. Number 9. The Hoxne Hoard. It's astonishing to think that perhaps the largest treasure of the ancient Romans ever discovered was found by sheer coincidence. The Hoxne Hoard was discovered by accident after a farmer from the UK had lost his trusty hammer in a field in England and decided to try and find it. On November 16, 1992, after employing the help of his friend who had received a metal detector as a retirement gift, the pair took to the field in Hoxne Village, Suffolk, and quickly received a strong signal. Soon after the farmer and his friend started digging, they realized the discovery was much more than just a hammer. After accounting for the entire treasure trove, archaeologists had cataloged a mass of golden and silver artifacts that included over 15,000 Roman coins, dozens of silver spoons, and various gold objects. It was believed to have been buried no later than 450 AD, and its current value is estimated to be worth around $4.3 million. The Hoxne Hoard is currently kept at the British Museum, where its most important items are kept on display for everyone to see. And of course, the farmer and his friend became filthy rich. Number 8. A priceless violin. If you're not already astounded by some of the incredible finds on this list, wait until you hear about this one. One evening back in 1967, a woman was driving along the freeway when she thought that they saw a baby in a stroller on the side of the road. It was the 60s, so she got out to investigate. But instead of finding a baby in a stroller, as she thought, she instead found a strange hard case carrying an instrument. After opening it up, she discovered a dusty old violin, and as her nephew was studying to play the instrument at the time, she gave it to him as a gift. Decades later, the woman's nephew was going through a divorce settlement with his ex-wife, and he lost the violin in the process. His ex-wife, a woman named Teresa Salvato, decided to take violin lessons to spite her ex-husband. And that's when her new violin teacher instantly noticed something odd about the instrument. After taking it to be examined, it turned out to be the Duke of Alcantara, a priceless and incredibly rare violin that had been missing from UCLA's collection ever since 1967. It was thought to have been worth over $800,000. Now that's incredible. Number 7. The microwave. In modern times, we take for granted the incredible technology behind many everyday objects. Take the microwave, for example, which is essentially a tiny nuclear reactor found in pretty much every kitchen on Earth. However, did you know that the origin of the microwave came about through an extraordinary set of circumstances? And yet, as you may have guessed, those who were involved with its miraculous discovery became incredibly rich in the process. In 1945, a self-taught engineer named Percy Spencer was working in a lab testing magnetrons. the high-powered vacuum tubes that are found inside radars. Incredibly, while working one day near the magnetron, Percy Spencer noticed that a peanut butter candy bar that he had left in his pocket had begun to melt. Soon enough, Spencer put two and two together and attempted to test his theory with some popcorn. And the rest, as they say, is history. The science behind the microwave was discovered by sheer chance, and alongside Raytheon, the company that Spencer worked for, everyone involved became filthy rich in the process. Considering the fact that the first microwave hit the market at a retail price of $5,000, you can see why. Number 6. The Priceless Painting. Back in 1999, a man was playing an art-related board game with friends when he noticed that one of the pieces in the game looked incredibly similar to the painting that he picked up at the thrift store for $30. The man had been using it to cover a hole in his living room for several years, but it turned out to be a piece titled Magnolias on Gold Velvet Cloth by an American painter named Martin Johnson Head. To his astonishment, the painting had been considered lost to the art world, and it ended up selling at auction for $1.25 million. Incredibly, this isn't the only painting by Martin Johnson Head that had been bought at a thrift store for a couple of bucks. Nearly 10 of his priceless paintings have gone on to sell for millions at auctions, with their owners rarely being aware of their true worth. If that's the case, maybe we should go thrift shopping. Number 5. The Declaration of Independence. Yeah, you heard that correct. Forget about money for a moment, but can you even imagine the cultural significance of accidentally stumbling upon the actual scripture of the Declaration of Independence written by the Founding Fathers on July 4th, 1776? Well, in 1989, that's exactly what happened for one lucky thrifter. In Philadelphia, a financial analyst bought an old painting for $4 at a flea market in Adamstown, mostly because he liked the frame. After investigating a small tear in the canvas a few years later, the frame fell apart in his hands. It led him to discover that a folded document had been kept behind the backing of the old painting, and after unfolding it, it appeared to be a dusty old copy of the Declaration of Independence. After a Civil War memorabilia collector advised the man to get it appraised, he learned that the copy was in fact a rare original Dunlap broadside, one of the only 500 official copies ever created from the first printing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. It was one of only 24 known copies, and on June 4th, 1991, it was sold at auction for an incredible $2.42 million. Now that's a good find. Number 4. Stuart Little Masterpiece. The 1999 movie, Stuart Little, isn't exactly known for its significance to art and culture, but for one keen-eyed movie lover, there was a masterpiece hiding in the background all along. In 2009, almost a decade after the movie hit the silver screen, Stuart Little was back in the headlines for a different reason. After watching the film with his young daughter, a researcher from the Hungarian National Art Gallery noticed what appeared to be a famous missing painting by the Hungarian avant-garde artist Robert Barany hanging on the wall of Stuart Little's home. Incredibly, the painting had gone missing sometime in the 1920s, before the outbreak of the Second World War. As it turned out, the researcher was right. The painting hanging in the background was actually titled Sleeping Lady with Black Vase, and the set designer had picked it up from a thrift store in California without realizing what it was. It later sold for $250,000 at an auction. Number 3. Ambergris. For those of you that don't know, ambergris is a waxy substance that is secreted in the intestines of sperm whales. It's often found washed up on shorelines across the planet and is highly coveted for its incredibly distinctive scent, which is used in some of the world's most expensive perfumes. Incredibly, just a small chunk of ambergris can be worth thousands of dollars. And yet, the biggest boulder of this whale byproduct ever found was a treasure for the ages. In 1953, a group of lucky researchers stumbled upon the largest ambergris deposit in history, weighing in at an incredible 926 pounds. The full extent of the price that it fetched has never been disclosed, but the lucky group were rumored to become millionaires overnight. And that's what's so incredible about ambergris. It can turn the most common walks on the beach into life-changing experiences. In September of 2015, a 2.4-pound chunk of ambergris was found on a beach in Ainsley, Wales, by a dog walker, which sold for $15,000. Then in 2016, 3 fishermen from Oman came across a giant hunk of the precious whale vomit, which weighed over 80 kilograms and sold for almost $3 million. Number 2. A priceless pendant. If you can't tell already, getting a metal detector is a pretty good idea. Hey, maybe you'll find a priceless Roman treasure chest, or in this case, a priceless royal pendant. Several years ago, a young father named Jason Hyatt was taking his 3-year-old son out on his first metal detecting trip. Just minutes after getting started, the father-son duo struck gold and started digging. About 8 inches beneath the dirt, Jason and his son discovered a gold locket with an image of the Virgin Mary clutching a cross. Figuring that it was at least worth something, Jason took it to be appraised. Shortly afterwards, his jaw hit the floor. The pendant dated back to the 16th century, during the reign of British monarch Henry VIII. It's believed that the pendant was originally owned by a member of the royal family, and only 3 are known to have ever existed. It was valued at over $4 million. Talk about beginner's luck. Number 1. The Emperor's Vase. Following the death of a loved one, cleaning out their homes and sorting through their belongings is often an incredibly emotional experience. However upsetting, you'd rarely expect to become a millionaire in the process. When a pair of siblings began cleaning out their deceased uncle's home, they came across a vase. Although covered in dust, the pair was struck by how strange it seemed and were compelled to take it to be valued. As it turned out, the vase was from the 1740s and had been specifically made for the Qianlong Emperor of China. As it turned out, the vase was one of a kind. It was the definition of a priceless antique, and it was sold at auction for just over $69 million. No one expected that. Well, there we have 10 lucky discoveries that made people rich. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. You've been watching The Supreme. See you next time.